It feels like every game now has a top 8 consequence at the moment. This premiership in the minor stakes is getting tighter and tighter.
Yeah, Vonnie, thanks for having me on again. But yeah, it is. It's tightening up, and I think there's a lot of competition for spots in that top 8, and I think it's going to be some exciting footy over the next month and a half, where everyone's sort of in line for finals.
Well, scenes at Suncorp Stadium, Mal, for the Bulldogs, they've turned what was started as belief and a desire to take themselves into a brand new era under coach Cameron Sorrello. They've turned that now into a reality. The entertainers are back. The fan base is back in a big way. Do you feel like if you step back and have a look at what Cameron Sorrello's done this year, is this the Coach of the Year performance we're watching?
Oh, it's close too, Vonnie. Obviously, there's a number of coaches that have done well. Craig Bellamy, obviously the Melbourne Storm, they're way out in front, but they've been steadfast with their belief, particularly defensively. And if you cast your mind back last year with Cameron, and he just kept on saying, "We'll be right, we'll be right." The players were working their bums off. Committed to what he wanted to achieve, and I felt. And you heard Reid mention, their off-season. They worked harder than they ever worked, and they kicked off the year defensively really well. So, again, they only held the Broncos to 16 points today, and that last try is the back end of the game. So, they're going really well.
It's a hell of a story, because last year the Bulldogs were the worst defensive team in the competition. Now they're one of the best. Now they're equal fourth with the Roosters on points. And the way they dismantled the Broncos at Suncorp today was a clinic. It was an absolute performance, because no Stephen Crichton, they all stood up and performed. And storyline about the Dogs is terrific. On the other side of the field is the Brisbane Broncos. 1 win in their last 8. They are in dire straits after almost winning that grand final last year. They cannot drop a game. Mathematically, they can make the finals. 32 points is probably the number that gets you to the finals. But after what they did last year, 1 win in the last 8 and losing today, they've got to buy up their sleeve, which helps. But I don't think the Broncos can make it. They've got the Titans next week, then the Cowboys away, and they finish with the Dolphins and the Melbourne Storm in the last 2 rounds. Now, if that team on screen is going to have to do something absolutely magical to make finals, but yeah, tough year for the Broncos, and the heat is going to come that way.
Well, this sums up where the Broncos have been all year, Mal. They were flat in Vegas. They never got into the game at all in 2024, really. And this is extraordinary, given that they were 20 minutes away from being the premiers last year. So, look, Kevin Walters is definitely feeling the pressure. The entire team is feeling the pressure. And as Cooper said, they were not just soundly beaten by the Bulldogs today without Stephen Crichton, without their ace Josh Adokar as well, but also how weak they were. Their response to the Bulldogs, they had no answers. And this has been an ongoing problem with the errors, the mistakes, giving away repeat sets. This is something that has plagued Brisbane all year.
And their defence off the back of those errors and those 6 again sets, so 41 points scored against them today at home in a game that mattered. They had to win today, to keep their run towards the top 8. As Cooper mentioned, they have to win every game now, and they've got to buy, thankfully. But when you talk about Harry, when you talk about defence, it's all around your mental aptitude and your application to it all. And I feel that they've got plenty of points in them. They can win games, carting the footy, but they just struggled on the defensive side of things. And when you look at their for and against, they're beaten by 25 points today. That was plus 25. If they win, they keep their fair shape. They keep their shaking up the top 8, but they're down to 0 points now, for and against, and that will struggle. They'll struggle to make the 8.
Well, just looking at Kevin Walters there, very serious times for the Brisbane Broncos. This result effectively has just killed them off for this season. It is all but just about killed off the Brisbane Broncos for 2024. He's a very disappointed coach, Kevin Walters.
Oh, I'm disappointed, yeah. I just thought we were a bit flat from the start. Maybe Origin, has had a bit of effect on a few of our boys. We just didn't seem to find our mojo early, and they did. They've been doing it all year, so yeah, they were clearly the better side today.
It's clear you have to win every game to be a possibility of making the 8. You're still confident that you can do that?
Well, we just got to win, well, not so much win. Well, we've got to win, but we just got to get back to, playing our footy, showing up with try and freshen them up this week and start the game well. I think most people don't. We were flat from the start, so I don't know why that is. I've been in that position myself as a player, and you got 40,000 people here. Everything's on the line, but just doesn't work for you sometimes.
This is the back page of the Sunday Mail Sport. Broncos on the brink, in the doghouse, blundering Brisbane's season on life support after home humbling. It was a big miss for the Brisbane Broncos today, and is that it? Is that's you're pretty much putting a red line through them?
Mathematically, they can make it. But yeah, I am. I think they've had a lot of reasons to stand up and fight for their season the last couple of weeks. One win of their last 8, and today was a huge reason to stand up. Home crowd against the Bulldogs, a team that they feel they could beat. And now they've got to go away, win every game from here on out. They've got the Cowboys in a couple of weeks away from home. And they finish with the Dolphins, and Harry Grant said they're definitely not winning the last game against the Melbourne Storm, so that says that they're not in the finals.
There was some
scenes... I did not say that.
But Harry, I wouldn't mind getting your thoughts, and not just particularly on the Broncos. And there were some scenes from the Brisbane Broncos fans leaving early from Suncorp Stadium, which again is almost unheard of in rugby league. They are a very proud one team. Well, they're not one team now because the Dolphins are there, but the Broncos fans expect a great deal from their club. Given that the Broncos were in the grand final last year, how do you think that that has played a psychological impact in the way that they've approached this season?
Yeah, I guess there's the expectation, not only the players but the fans, and that's probably why they're a bit disappointed. They wanted to beat the traffic and get out of there, but yeah, I think it's hard. They've got the players to do it, and it's just not happening for them at the moment. So, yeah, I don't think you can rule them out. I think, like we said, they've got the players, and we've seen Newcastle, what they did last year and went on a run, and they give the finals a bit of a shake. So, yeah, I think they can do it. But
no, they can't because they got the Storm in round 27.
That's true, yeah.
Well, the thing is, mathematically they can still do it. But if they drop one more game where I don't think they can make it anyway, there's going to be a huge heat on Kevin Walters. For a team that had 9 fingers and half a fingernail on that trophy last year, to go away and not make the finals with that list, there's something going on there, and they're going to have a lot of pressure coming their way, and it's been a disappointing season if that's the case.
It's like most clubs, sometimes they get themselves into a situation where they've done really well one year, and then they're feeling very confident and probably don't do the amount of work that they should through the off season to kick off the year again. And I feel that's probably one of the reasons why they started. They started slow. They lost their first game in Vegas. While they've struggled in recent times because they just didn't put that effort in at the beginning of the year, a bit like what the Cowboys did the year before. So I think that you've got to put your preparation in through your pre-season, and if you don't do that, well, then you're going to be in a hell of a lot of trouble.
Yeah, to back Mel up, the Eels 2 years ago made that grand final, haven't played finals since, and hard work ends up being the reason between why you play finals and why you don't.